The night everything changed began just like any other. Quiet. Ordinary. Harmless. Or, at least that's what I wanted to believe. I was sitting on the couch with my husband, David, watching a late-night show neither of us cared about. The space between us felt heavier than ever. For months, our marriage had been slowly falling apart, thread by thread, like an old sweater unraveling in silence. We used to be inseparable. We used to laugh over burnt toast, dance barefoot in the kitchen, whisper secrets in the dark. But somewhere between long work hours and quiet resentment, that warmth disappeared. Now our words were shallow. Our eyes barely met. And each time his phone buzzed, he tilted the screen away, thinking I wouldn't notice. I didn't want to be that suspicious wife. I told myself I was imagining things, until I wasn't. One night, I found the messages. At first, they seemed harmless, just friendly notes between coworkers. But as I scrolled, my chest tightened. The tone changed. The words grew softer, deeper, more intimate. Her name was Clara, and the kind of affection he gave her was the kind I'd been begging for in silence. That night, after David drifted to sleep, I sat on the edge of the bed, staring at my reflection in the dark window. The woman looking back at me seemed like a stranger, tired, invisible, forgotten. I wanted to scream, to wake him, and demand the truth. But instead, I cried quietly beside the man who had already left me in every way that mattered. The days that followed felt heavy, with pretending. I smiled, cooked dinner, asked about his day, but something inside me was cracking. That's when Adam came into my life. My neighbor. Late 20s, calm eyes, that quiet kind of confidence that made you feel noticed. He'd moved in a few months earlier, always offering to help with groceries or the fence. I kept my distance. I was married after all. But his kindness had a way of slipping through the cracks in my armor. One afternoon, he came by to fix a leaking pipe. As he crouched under the sink, sleeves rolled, explaining the problem, I caught myself watching him, his patience, his gentleness. He didn't make me feel small. He just helped, effortlessly. We talked, first about small things, then about loneliness, about how two people can sleep side by side and still feel miles apart. I didn't realize how badly I missed being heard until that moment. Then came that dangerous silence, the kind charged with something unspoken. When he stood up, our eyes met. Neither of us looked away. My heart raced. I hated the feeling but couldn't fight it. For the first time in years, I felt alive. "Thanks for helping," I said softly. "Anytime," he replied. His voice lingered long after he left. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the way he'd looked at me, not as a broken wife, but as someone who still mattered. Days passed, and we kept finding reasons to see each other, sometimes on purpose, sometimes not. He'd drop by with coffee. I'd ask for help I didn't really need. I told myself it was innocent, but deep down I knew the line was blurring. Then one stormy evening, the power went out. My phone was dead when Adam knocked, flashlight in hand. We sat by candlelight, laughing at the thunder. The rain against the windows made everything feel close, suspended. In one quiet moment, his hand brushed mine. Just a touch, but enough to send a shiver through me. I pulled back, torn between guilt and want. "Madison," he whispered. My name sounded different in his voice. "You don't have to be alone." And I broke, not into his arms, but into tears. Months of pain and silence poured out of me. Adam didn't push. He just held me, steady and warm. That moment wasn't about betrayal. It was about remembering myself, the woman who still deserved to be seen, to be loved honestly. When David came home 2 days later, I was calm. I didn't yell. I simply told him I knew. The silence that followed said more than any argument. He denied, then apologized weakly, but I'd already made my choice. I told him I was leaving. For the first time in years, I felt strong, not because of Adam, but because I finally chose me. Weeks later, after the divorce papers were signed, Adam came by again. He didn't say much, just handed me 2 cups of coffee. "Fresh start?" he asked with a smile. I nodded. "Yeah, fresh start." We sat on the porch, watching the sunset, saying nothing. I didn't know where life would take us, but I knew one thing for sure. I would never again settle for half a love, half a life, or half a truth. Sometimes, you have to lose the wrong person to find the courage to love yourself again.